Private security has been deployed, and the reports are that some of them are wearing balaclavas. They're carrying, they've been trained to arrest and escort people off vessels. That's what we understand the situation on some of the vessels. So our advice to our members is to stay professional, stay on board until we clarify the legal situation. We believe this is an illegal act. It's certainly a highly questionable and an immoral act. I have been in this game 40 years. This industry can shock you on occasions. This is a new low for me in my experience. I'm absolutely stunned. My members are stunned. All my staff that I gathered together this morning to get a briefing and work out an action plan, everybody completely gobsmacked.
When did you first hear of this?
This morning, 9 o'clock.
And 9 o'clock this morning. And did you hear the same way the rest of the world heard, or were you hearing from employees? Who sort of first told you?
Our members were contacting the union, their officials in the union, to brief them about a notice that they'd received to tie the ships up and stand by for a company announcement. That's the first anybody had heard. Now, legal obligation to consult on redundancy, if that's what this is supposed to be, none of that has taken place. It's utterly shameful.
And for those employees who, as we say, are now facing either the choice of whether to stay on board or to get off those boats, is there a concern that if they do step off the boats, they could effectively be locked out of their jobs and that they lose any leverage they might have had?
I think once they're off the ships, that's it. The job's gone. That's tantamount to accepting. They're being bribed off the ships with promises of enhanced redundancy. Nobody knows what those terms are. Nobody's seen the agreements. Presumably, they'll have to sign, a settlement agreement. We're urging our members to keep in touch with us and keep us advised if they get offered a package, consult the union, share any terms of settlement agreements with us. They wouldn't be valid without professional advice, legal advice anyway. We stand by, ready to provide that. And we also stand by, ready to support members who want to challenge this outrageous behaviour.
Now, P&O have been clear to say that they were making £100 million losses year on year, that was being bailed out by the people who own them. So that's DP World, the Dubai company. How much does that complicate matters that we've got P&O, who the employers will presumably have been hired by and dealing with, and also DP World, the parent company, which seems to have taken the lead on this? Will one be blaming the other or trying to hide behind the other?
Probably, but I've never met a ship owner that willingly admits to making any money. I mean, they never tell you they make any money. They do everything they can to persuade you that even when it's absolutely self-evident that some shipping companies have made huge profits during the COVID-19 pandemic, you watch them twist and turn when it comes to trying to liberate them of their profits to reward their hard-working staff, the heroes, the key workers, the very staff that P&O are sacking this morning have kept this country supplied during the last 2 years. Crucial supply lanes being kept open, and this is how they reward them, having taken, as the Shadow Minister has just highlighted, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of taxpayers' money to support that work, and this is how they get rewarded.
Well, hang on, because so are you suggesting that it could be the case that actually that was a lie? P&O haven't been making losses, that they've actually been making profits during, 2 years of pandemic and, of course, the knock-on effects of Brexit?
I'm not saying they're lying. I'm not saying that they don't have challenging. P&O in itself has been struggling. It has huge debts to pension funds. Not only the seafarers themselves, there's 2 pension funds in particular, but also its own staff. So they have challenges, but they have a fabulously wealthy parent company. That company is in rude health. And I would have thought now was the time for them to get behind the company, support the company. Shipping has to be and is, it must be a long-term investment. People who are in it for a quick buck, we don't need them. We need people who are committed. This, of course, is a very important route. It's a very important activity for the nation. The government has a strategy, Maritime 2050. It has a people chapter in that strategy about building maritime skills for a maritime nation that depends on shipping. And this has just blown a hole beneath the waterline. So I'm really hoping the government will get involved. It's pleasing to note from the previous interview that there is a meeting planned between the minister, the Secretary of State, I would hope, and the company to find out what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I mean, a fifth of their workforce, you'll be defending your members in their dispute against that. Realistically, for those 800 who have now found themselves without jobs, what prospects do they have of finding, well, either a route back to their own job or finding some way out of this?
I think a lot of them will just call it. The reason why there's a strategy, by the way, with the people element to the strategy to rejuvenate our maritime skills, is we have decades of underinvestment in shipping skills. Now, that means that we have a very poor demographics for the maritime skills base in this country. A lot of our people will just call it a day. This is just one kick in the teeth too many, I'm afraid.